Justin Hawkins writes again. Good day to you. It is I, Justin Hawkins. This is Justin Hawkins Rides Again, my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'm going to make sure that's in properly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for the alerts. Today is one of my favourite of all days. I just love it. I'm going to be reacting to your comments. So allow me to read through a few of your missives and react to them accordingly. Jamie Dempo 22 says, ever met Bono? If so, what were the circumstances? If not, thoughts on his style and longevity. I have met Bono, actually. I met him one year. The Darkness inducted Queen into the Hall of Fame. And so we had to go and do a little speech and everything. And we were hanging out backstage. And one of my friends was an enormous U2 fan and realised that Bono was there and asked me to introduce her to him. So I dragged her backstage, went up to Bono, and then realised that despite, you know, I love some U2 stuff. I love the Joshua Tree, and there's other bits in their catalogue that I think is really great. I really admire the Edge as a guitarist as well. But I've never really been that much of a fan, you know, aside from loving certain bits of their catalogue. But it felt like all of the sort of excitement and sort of giddy, weak-kneed, you know, fandom that you'd expect from her, she was just really cool. She was like, oh, hey Bono, nice to meet you. And I was like, Bono, it's Bono, can you see? So, and I actually freaked out a little bit, which is very unusual for me. But when I think about it, you know, my childhood, I mean, that's been the biggest band. My father was a big U2 enthusiast, up to a point. And so I was kind of brought up on it, and I didn't realise it would affect me that way. But meeting Bono was a big moment, and my body reacted in a strange way. Palpitations, trembling, you know, couldn't get the words out. It was very, very strange. I actually thought it was by osmosis from her sort of concealed excitement, but it's probably more than that, if I'm honest. Harlan Jackson said, hey Justin, are you in the Illuminati? How did you know Easter was going to be cancelled? Spread the disease and sell the cure seems a bit sus. Goodness is always diluted and evil is always pure. Easter was cancelled shortly after you penned these very words. Well, yeah, just to correct you a little bit, I said spreading disease so they can sell the cure was one of the lines in Easter is cancelled. I think it came out... Wait, did it come out in 2019? When did that... I think it did. I think it actually came out just before the pandemic. And a lot of people did say that it was a prophetic piece of writing. I was talking about the rise of the arse clowns as well, as in the sort of political landscapery that was happening back then. It was the nearest thing the Darkness is ever going to do to a political record, and everything that we said sort of... a lot of people think it came to fruition, and depending on your position within the sort of conspiracy theorist hierarchy, as it were. But yeah, it's interesting how that happened. I mean, it was called Easter is Cancelled, and then the next two Easters were indeed cancelled. So sorry about that. The next album is going to be called Justin Hawkins Wins the European Lottery and Lives Happily Ever After. Coming soon to a record store near you. Ola Berg says, was it fun to write songs with Rivers Cuomo for Weezer's album Everything Will Be Alright in the End? Yeah, it really was fun. The emphasis of it was fun. It's one of those... The song I wrote was called I've Had It Up to Here. And now I just can't take no more. I've had it up to here. And it worked a little bit like, you know, when you draw the head of a character and then you pass it on to the next person, they do the body. It's a little bit like that kind of process in places, but there was some stuff where we worked together in the middle eight section, and I think part of the pre-chorus, or you know, there were some bits like I think Rivers had the chorus, I had the verse, and the other bits that you used to sort of connect those things we worked on together, and it was a great experience because the vibe of recording in his presence is it has to be fun. He has to dance to it. You have to get the room dancing, otherwise it doesn't float, you know. He's a really interesting character and actually a lovely guy. And I was impressed with how sort of reflective and he sort of solemnly contemplates everything and just has it's just a really nice person to work with. Aside from the fact that he's super talented and plays all the instruments, and I don't know, I love him. He's great. Thanks, Ola. Boris of Weezer says, Justin, how / do your moustache style influence your musical mood or vice versa? Are they antennas? I think if we are to consider any of the facial hair options available to me as an antenna, moustache is the nearest thing to it. I don't feel that way about a beard. I mean, a beard is just there to hide your chins, I think. I don't think it does anything. I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of stubble. I think it's abrasive, just to rubs you up the right way. Do you know what I mean by that? But I think moustache is there's no such thing as a moustache that isn't preposterous, and stuff that's preposterous always appeals to me. So I don't know. Sometimes I think about shaving off the moustache, and I'm always talked out of it by the people that love me the most. So it's here to stay, I think. Thanks for your comment, Boris. Appreciate it. Gian Pires says, greetings, Sir Hawkins. I love you and your channel gratefully. I'd like to ask your thoughts on the This Is Spinal Tap movie and how similar it is to being in a band. This Is Spinal Tap is a really inspired piece of cinematic brilliance, and I love that movie. I think it's so much of the experience of being in a band is really accurately portrayed in that film. I recommend anybody who hasn't seen it yet to watch it. It's astounding. I really think that there's some great songs in the soundtrack as well. I had the pleasure of playing live with Spinal Tap actually when they came and did Wembley a few years ago. It was, oh my God, it was 12 years ago, I think. And I came on stage and I was one of the many bass players that performed Big Bottom, where everyone plays bass. It's awesome. What a great track. Thanks, Gian. Oh, Jungio says, hello, Justin. I'm from India and I love your videos. I used to blast Love Is Only a Feeling on repeat when I was in school. My question is simple. How to manage to keep that voice of yours so pristine after all these years? I always say this, but I think singing is a lot to do with anatomy, really. I don't think it necessarily is affected by things like smoking, but certainly anything that would promote acid reflux I try and avoid. So I don't drink. I mean, that's a lot of reasons why I don't drink, but that's one of them. I don't drink. I don't eat acidic and spicy foods like within a period of time before I go on stage. Usually it's 4 hours. In fact, I don't eat anything before I go on stage. It's important to time your meals as well, so you don't go to bed with with the food coming up to here. I'm not sure if that's scientific. I don't know if food actually does go up to there, but you know what I mean, that feeling of being really full, and I never do that. And I think I did have some problems with my voice a few years ago, and I had to have a procedure when I developed a polyp on one of my vocal cords, and it was taken off by a surgeon. And then I had some aftercare at the Zurich Opera House, and to be perfectly honest with you, that changed my whole approach, and the way I maintain my voice now means that I can basically get away with it for another few years. But thank you so much for your lovely message. DasPatrig says, where do you get your awesome jumpsuits from? Over the years, I've had several different clothing designers that did my stage wear. In the olden days, like the cat suits that you would see on like the Get Your Hands Off My Woman video or the Growing On Me video were made by somebody called Christian Hutter. Then there was a guy called Owen Gastor who I think he actually studied fashion alongside Alexander McQueen of all people. And but whereas McQueen went into sort of high-end, retail fashion stuff, Owen decided to just go and make clothes for people like I think he did stuff for Kylie Minogue and the Rolling Stones and The Darkness and all this. Like, he did a lot of really wild stuff. So a lot of my sort of big cat suits from that golden era were by him. And then there's a really, really famous designer called Hedi Slimane. I think he designed the sort of sequined Dior cat suit that I wore when we headlined Reading and for some of the arena touring after that. Then Agatha Blois made some of my really kind of like superhero that's been dug up, or the rotting corpse of superhero costumes. And then I worked with Ray Brown for a little while. Ray Brown very famously did clothes for, I don't know, Bon Jovi and pretty much every metal and hair metal band in the 80s. He's dressed them all. A lot of people are influenced by his work. He's a really great character as well. He's really fun. But nowadays, I'm working with my friend Angela Bright, who is a fabulous designer. Go and have a look at her Instagram. Let me just check what her Instagram. Actually, we'll put a link to her Instagram in the description. She's amazing. Right, with that, I think I've done all the comments. Justin Hawkins writes again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, sign up for the alerts, and watch one of these 2 videos. Nice one, guys. See you on the ice. Cheers.